Hey everybody, what's going on? I am using the Radiant Tarot deck for anybody curious. The first card that we have out is Six of Wands. Okay, the next card that we have out is Ace of Pentacles. With Six of Wands, usually in order to get some type of result that we want, in order for something to be successful, we do have to put in some type of effort, and then our effort proves successful. That is what the Six of Wands is, and it feels like that has now afforded you a new chapter. This can even be that something materializes now, but it's only through the effort that you had put in. This can only be made possible by you putting in effort. So it's not something that just appeared. Sometimes things do just appear. This is not one of those situations. This is a situation where you worked for whatever this is, and you ended up succeeding. I get this sense of this giving you a boost of some sort. Like maybe even there's a little bit of power that comes with this. But more than anything, a power of understanding. But I actually feel like with Pluto coming out here, this can give you like a one-up in some way. I'm feeling drawn to the person on the Judgment card that kind of looks like they're floating a little bit. It's like they're still somewhat grounded, but they're just like hovering a little bit. And I feel like this has given you something like that, where there's just even, I mean, I guess even from like a spiritual or energetic standpoint as well, this can be maybe some like height that you have gained here. And then we also have the sun coming out too, which can mean that like powerful realizations are being made. Because when we have Pluto and when we have the sun together, this can be, like Pluto can be the recesses, like those shadow places that we don't like usually get light brought to. And within that, we can really gain a deep understanding of a sense of like power that is within that, of not looking away, but of like looking directly at the stuff. And the sun is the flashlight to give you the opportunity to actually look, and that we find power in what it is that we seek. But it's a personal power that we gain. And this can even be connected with your inner authority here. And this gives you some type of like psychological foundation as well, where there can be like more of a sturdiness even there, because rather than repressing, this is like bringing things up into the light. And so because you're connecting with more of yourself here, like maybe this is some type of like psychological work that you've been doing with Pluto and the sun. Maybe this is some type of shadow work, ego work that you've been doing with Pluto and the sun. Maybe this is about your psychic abilities for some with Pluto and the sun. Like maybe this has to do with authentic self-expression with Pluto and the sun. I feel like part of your personal power is connected with this too, though. I feel like that's something that's involved in this. Because Pluto and Sun is very magnetic. There's a magnetism within that. So you can be getting more connected with your magnetism as well, and your ability to like make things happen in the situations that you're in. To kind of, to be in touch with your personal power enough to know how to do that. Because Pluto is very persuasive. And it can be very influential. And when you have the sun there, you can be becoming aware of this part of you. Pluto is very, very, very magnetic. And so when we're in touch with that part of our power, like for better or for worse, it can be the thing where when we're understanding of that, when we are aware of that part within us, it can be something that allows us to cultivate the things that we want in our life. Again, for better or for worse. Because sometimes we cultivate things and it's not like good stuff for us. Sometimes we cultivate things and it is. It really just depends on your intention here. But whatever it is, with Pluto and the Sun, we're able to actually do those things that we want to do. And I'm also seeing King of Wands, which I just feel like further kind of solidifies that. Because King of Wands also is a card of somebody that can really make things happen because they're the one that's in charge. So it's like, well, who else is going to do it but me? And I will find a way to make it happen. Although I'm not seeing you be at the end of something where this is a new chapter, that's the very beginning of something. This feels like a new chapter within a storyline that you have been moving through. And maybe you're like, I don't know, halfway through, 3/4 of the way through this storyline. This is a new chapter within that. And this is one where you're like, you just got some type of win, is what I'm seeing. Yeah, I mean, Magician and Judgment, this kind of feels like you being able to, or like figuring out how to do something that you want to do. Like the means to be able to do what you want to do and the understanding of how exactly to do that. Because we can see Pluto as the higher octave of Mars, and Mars is about how we get what we want. And so think of Pluto as being like 10 times that. Again, for better or for worse, like it has to be said, because any of the planets can be used in a high vibrational way or a low vibrational way. So whatever it is, Pluto is always going to be power, but sometimes for good things, sometimes for not so good things, sometimes for things that we are benefited by, sometimes to get things that we think are going to benefit us and then it's like not really benefiting us. So again, it really just depends on like where you are within the energy and how it is that is working for you and what it is that you're doing. When we have Mercury and we have Pluto, Mercury is about like our ideas and what we're envisioning and what we want to make happen and our intention. And Pluto is going to be finding the means to be able to do that and cultivate that and make that happen successfully. And I feel like you have kind of a new vision for this chapter where you can be more clear on what it is that you want to be doing here. And I'm also seeing an Ace of Cups as well. So you have an Ace of Pentacles and you have an Ace of Cups, and both of them are facing one another. With Judgment above Ace of Cups, I do feel like you wanted this and that you found a way to make it happen, and now it's just kind of yours at this point. And this had to do with an intention that you had and now making that come to life. So you definitely did want this. We have Queen of Pentacles coming out. I want to clarify this. there's like any housekeeping that you need to do, now can be the time to do that. There's like anything that you need to take care of or tend to, now can be the time that you do that. I wonder if this is also showing you too, like maybe somewhere where you hadn't been fully showing up, but there would be a brilliance within seeing that, because then you would know like what you would need to do in order to do that. You know, like if you catch yourself lacking in some type of way and you notice that that's happening, then you can like turn that around and do something about that. Something about this can be part of what's going on as well. Because I'm seeing you figuring out how to really best take care of yourself and take care of things, but you can be going through a bit of a like personal process right now where you're working through something that hasn't been the easiest to move through within your personal life or like private life, but it's something that you're in the process of figuring out. But stuff that's going on, it can put a really big focus on your private life. Having the sun above it is like, for some reason, I just keep feeling like very focused on things going on with me in my private life, in my personal life, and or like these things going on are really shedding light on that for me. And so I'm becoming more aware of that. And there's also a focus on you tending to things that you've been going through, like even on the emotional front. Because I'm even wondering as well if maybe you had things that you were doing that like weren't like in your highest alignment, and you could have been doing those things, and now this can be a bit of a like becoming aware of that and saying like, is this really what I'm going to be using my power for? Maybe I can do something like better for myself with that. And now that you have new opportunities, because I'm seeing 2 new chapters that are opening, you can be like, this is when I want to start doing that. Like maybe you want to start implementing this for yourself, maybe in a way that you hadn't been before. So I see this as being progressive regardless of what's going on here, because I feel like you're kind of turning something around for yourself where you could have been like wanting to turn things around, and now you actually have the chance to, because you have kind of like 2 clean slates for yourself. So it's like the perfect opportunity for you to implement this now. But I also see some stuff that's going on the emotional front for you too, where maybe you're getting more clear on what you want for yourself and what you feel like would be best for you. In a way where it's cutting through the surface level and really getting to the core essence of what that is. What that means too is that I don't really feel like this is anything that you're doing that you're not fully aware of now at this point. Having Mercury and having Pluto there, this feels like you're very aware of your intentions and what you're doing. So there is a sense of intentionality with this. I'm seeing it look like somebody's about to pop a balloon with a pin. I'm wondering if you had been mourning something, or if you had been like grieving something or coming to terms with something, that could have been keeping you stuck for a little bit, just because like maybe you weren't working through it, or maybe it was just like taking some time to work through it. But now at this point, I feel like these new chapters that are happening are kind of shifting the focus a little bit, where there's more of an intention. It feels like there's more of an understanding of what you're choosing, and you may be choosing things that you feel ready to take on. And maybe you had been avoiding those things that you wanted before because you were still dealing with something. That doesn't mean, I don't know if you're like You may still be dealing with something, but there's also at least this added element of like, I want this to be integrated into my experience too, because I want to also be focusing on things that feel like fun to me and are focused on the things that I want to be doing. It looks like some rain is stopping and like the sky is going to clear up a bit, but maybe you had been feeling like it was raining a lot before and you just were having to deal with something and get through something before. I wonder as well if you had to really get down to the bottom of what it was that you wanted. Maybe that wasn't so clear before, like what you were really going to resonate with. Okay, so I'm pulling on the Queen of Pentacles, and I'm seeing that we have Page of Wands, and we also have the High Priestess. And having these two energies here can mean for the Queen of Pentacles that you can be deciding to do something that you think is going to be exciting. It can be something having to do with your spirituality. It can have to do with like occult stuff, mystical stuff, astrology, like these types of things. Anything like related to the High Priestess. So it will be like hidden knowledge types of things. It can be in that vein, or it can be something that you're doing. I guess this can also be something that you're like kind of keeping to yourself as well. It doesn't have to be one of those things, but it can be something that you're doing that you're excited about, that you're kind of like keeping more quiet. That can be something, it can be like a project that you're going to be working on. The other thing that this can be is like possibly a relationship or something like that, because the High Priestess is connected with the moon. The moon is connected with what we want. So you can be starting something that's connected with what you want, but like having High Priestess there, this may be something that you're like maybe more quiet about. It doesn't have to be that, but it can sometimes indicate that having the High Priestess there. It can be kind of like, this is mine and I don't want to share it. That can be a little bit of the feeling there with that. I feel like this is something that's going to engage you mentally, and it can be teaching you more about your core and what that's communicating with you as far as like what you're doing within the world and how you really feel about that. Setting you up for the future that you want. Yeah, I see a lot of excitement that's going towards this Ace of Cups. A lot of excitement going towards this. Which means that Knight of Swords does not hold back, just like the Knight of Wands. Neither of those knights hold back. It's kind of just like, I feel drawn in that direction. It's like it pulls like right from me and I just like have to go that way. And having it be the Ace of Cups, this would be something that you feel very excited to connect with. And I feel too, because we have Queen of Pentacles going in with Six of Swords, the Six of Swords in this deck is about not being like pinned down anymore, where you've kind of been like mentally liberated. Like you've like worked through something and now you can just kind of like flutter around and go where you want to, because whatever mental gymnastics you were doing, they've now been figured out. So that's kind of how you can be left feeling now at this point. I think that some stuff may still possibly be up in the air a little bit, but it's in the process of being worked through. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.